How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the ChiTownPod episode 5. Today, we're going to be talking about Bulls, Blackhawks, and a little bit of baseball. There's been a lot of rumors flying around the past couple days.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Thomas is sick and couldn't be on the pod today. So
Unreal.
please welcome
Unreal.
in Frank as our guest appearance. He's filling in
What's
for
up?
Tom. You'll definitely see him on the pod in future episodes as well. How you doing, Frank?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. A long day at school today. A lot of class, but I'm finally done with class. Now I'm just focusing on finals.
Nice. Nice. That's sweet.
Anything busy going on today? You work today or?
I slept till 2 o'clock,
Oh, hey man, whatever gets it done for you.
and then yeah. That's pretty much it.
And now you're here.
Yeah. That's
Well, it sounds like a
that.
good day to me. Sleeping and then recording the Chi-Town pod.
I'm okay
Um,
with it.
yeah, exactly. So today we're gonna start today off with a little Q&A. I sent a poll
All
out, or
right.
not a poll, but I sent a tweet out on Twitter at ChiTownPod1,
Mhm.
just saying, hey, uh, send some questions in, and we'll answer them on the pod. And we ended up getting 2 today, so not
Sweet.
mad at that. So number 1 from Matt is, Frank, what are your top 5 worst Chicago sports heartbreak moments, with 1
Oh
being the
wow.
worst?
I know my number one.
I think you and I are gonna have the same number 1.
Wow. Because I don't follow the Blackhawks or Sox or like the Cubs that well.
I guess for you, since you're kind of all over the place, we could flip this. What are your top 5 worst sports moments, sports heartbreak moments?
Sports moments. Okay, that might be easier. Number five has to be the 2015 Blue Jays losing to the Indians in the ALCS. Because I feel like
Well,
that was our best
they lost. They
shot.
went to back to back. They lost to the Royals and then the Indians. Royals in
Yeah,
2015, Indians in 2016.
yeah, that wasn't good. What else have the Jays done that's. I know a Chicago one, number four, the White Sox trading Fernando Tatis Jr. for James Shields.
Okay, okay,
That. Because if he was in Chicago, like you could go see him and stuff, but
that's
now you
true. I
can't.
mean, as a Cubs fan, like I 100% agree. That'd be cool to be
Hmm.
able to see Tatis every day.
Yeah, the Sox are just yeah.
It's brutal.
Oh, I think at number three, I got to put Rondo getting hurt when we were up 3-1 versus
Dude,
Celtics.
I swear they were going to win that series 2-0.
I
They
felt that
took
was our
both
year.
in Boston.
I know.
Rondo
I thought
breaks
that
his
was it.
hand. They don't win again.
Oh,
That
that was
hurt.
that one hurt. The Bulls trading Jimmy Butler. That one also was not one of my
Dude,
top moments. I was
Jimmy
pretty pissed.
Butler's my second favorite basketball player of all time.
And number one, I this might be the same as yours, is Derrick Rose ACL injury versus Sixers.
That is 100% my number one.
Dude,
100%. My number 5, I'd probably put the 2015 Cubs. That team was so fun, and then that run just ended so suddenly. It was
mm-hmm.
like, what happened there? I mean,
Yeah.
they rolled through the Cardinals and then got swept by the Mets. My number 4, I'd probably have to say, kind of seeing that sharp decline in
Mm-hmm.
in the Blackhawks, like Keith, Seabrook, Kane, and Taves, like that
Yeah.
those Cup teams kind of just falling off pretty hard. Number 3 would be 4th and 8 blown coverage against Green Bay in Week 17, 2013. Chris Conti just leaves Randall Cobb wide open for a touchdown. Packers
Mm-hmm.
take the lead with less than a minute left. And then
Yeah.
number 2, 2018, the double doink against the Eagles. It still
I
hurts to say that.
that was bad.
I went to school the next day and I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't really talk to anyone for that whole week. I was stunned. I didn't watch the rest of that playoffs until the Super Bowl. I was so
Marky's
mad.
horrible. He can't be seen in Chicago. He'll get
Yeah,
shot.
it's not good.
Yeah,
And then my number one, obviously, Derrick Rose getting injured. I strongly believe that Bulls team gets at least 2 championships if he never gets hurt.
100%. He didn't even need to be in that moment. It was under 2 minutes. We're up 12. Like,
102
I don't
minutes.
know.
It's game one against the 8 seed. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like, and then that was the only game we ended up winning.
yeah. I mean, that
We
was
never won
the
after
was
that.
that was the bench mob Bulls too.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that Bulls team was, man, that one hurts. That one hurts.
yeah. It was bad.
Going to our second question here. Um, how long? This could be for your teams too. These questions were posted with Thomas being on the pod. But how long do you think it takes for each of Chicago's big four teams, the Bulls, Hawks, Cubs, and Bears? Sorry, White Sox fans, to get their respective championships? And this is from Ethan on
Oh
Twitter.
wow. I'm gonna give the Cubs within the next 3 years. They're on the rise. I would almost say next year could be their year.
Well, all right, hold on. We'll get into it later, but maybe not next year. Just
Depends
because
what things, what they do. The Bears, I don't think they're close. 8 years,
8 for the Bears. Wow.
I don't think they're close. It's not Fields. They're not winning with Fields. And if they
Nope.
stick with him, I don't know that much about the Blackhawks, but I heard they're not that good this year. Am I correct?
Oh, they are the worst team in the league, but they do have the best prospect. They have the best prospect.
I'll give
I'll
it
talk about
five
it.
years.
That's
We'll just
that's
go
the
with
perfect
that.
timeline. Maybe a little sooner.
Okay, now the Bulls,
This
I
is your
don't
team,
think.
man.
I know. I think we would have won in 2021 with Lonzo Ball if he was healthy. We were 28-11 in the 1 seed in January. I think because Lonzo's coming
Interesting.
back next year, he's already confirmed it on other podcasts. I think if you trade Levine and get a different superstar to go with DeMar Vooch and Kobe White and all them, I think within the next 2 years could be our year.
Really?
Yes,
So
I
we're
think we just gotta.
totally different on the Bulls.
I think we swap with Levine with someone. I think we can be a contender.
Interesting. For the Bears, for me, I would say I'd say 4 years, within 3 to 4 years, just because this is
Mm-hmm.
with the assumption that they're going to get a top 2 pick and they're going to get a Caleb Williams or they're going to get a Drake May, and they end
Yeah,
up panning out. Which who knows? It could be 15 if those guys suck.
yeah,
Um, I I have a I feel good about both those guys though. Um,
mm-hmm.
so that's why I'm saying like 4, maybe even up to 5 years, depending on their development. For the
Yeah,
Blackhawks, I'm gonna say 4 years. I think that first year after Bedard's rookie contract is up, that's when
yeah,
the Blackhawks timeline. I feel like it's gonna be they're gonna suck this year. They're gonna be
yeah.
frisky and fun next year.
Mm-hmm.
Probably miss the playoffs by about 10 points. Uh, Then in Bedard's final year of his rookie deal, they'll make the playoffs but be a first round exit. And then that fourth year is when they'll kind of take that leap.
So they gotta extend Bedard.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But after year 3, the way hockey works, he'll be a restricted free agent. So it's the same as basketball, where
So they can give him the max.
yeah,
Okay, that's so they should get.
he'll be here for a long time.
I would hope
Um,
so.
for the Cubs are weird. If this offseason went how I thought it was gonna, and they were gonna get one of these big fish,
Like a
I would have
Yamamoto,
said Yamamoto, Otani, Soto. I would have said as soon as this year, but
but they haven't
real
yet.
they haven't exactly. Realistically, I'm gonna go 3 years, just because you have a bunch of prospects.
Yeah.
This
I
year's
mean, and
free
then they're
agent
talking about.
class.
Oh, you got.
Go ahead, go ahead.
They're talking about getting Matt Chapman.
I mean, we went from Yamamoto, Bellinger, and Otani to Matt Chapman, Reese Hoskins, and freaking I don't even know who. Just
Chapman had one good month, and it was April. He got Player of the Month, and that was it.
after that, he rode the coattails of that month.
Yeah.
And for the Bulls, I think trading for Vooch set that team back about 5 years. I'd say the earliest that their championship window opens is 5 years.
I can agree. I think some of our young guys, we should develop. Like Julian Phillips is insane, in my opinion. I love him. He
He's
can jump.
super athletic.
I know. I've seen him at the G League because I work there, obviously. So I've seen what he can do. I think he could be good. I'm not sure about Dalen Terry yet, though. I want him to be good. I want the best for him, but I
Me
don't know.
too, fellow Arizona Wildcat Dalen Terry. Um,
I don't know about him.
man,
It's in the air.
it really is. He's not getting playing time. Like they're this is like I almost think they should try and punt this year. Like trade Levine and start developing and playing your young guys. I mean, we'll
Mm,
talk about it because Bulls talk is coming up next. But
yeah. I mean, Io, like we signed for a 3-year extension. I actually like Io has stepped up this year, like
he's
in a
played really
small.
well, really
Yeah,
well.
he's a catch and shoot guy in the corner like he does that, and then he's playing hard. So I don't mind keeping Io. Same with Kobe White. I mean, how many points did he have the other night? 30
He had,
something.
I think, 30 some. Thomas and I talked about it. Like out of all their young guys, Kobe White's been the guy who we've really seen each year
Yeah,
just develop into a better player.
I know Kobe White. I think you can lock. He should just be a Bull forever, in my opinion.
Agreed. I don't
He's
think he's a starting point guard on a championship team. I think he's your six man, comes in,
yeah.
kind of gives you that spark, gives you 15 off
Mhm.
the bench every night.
I mean, but like looking down at next year, Lonzo Ball is going to come back. So then that's basically what Kobe White's role is going to probably bump down to.
Exactly. It'll be like 2020 whenever we were good 2 years ago, 2021.
Yeah,
He
and
was
then
that backup point guard.
but the only issue is we are losing Caruso. He's a free agent, and so is Demar
Is he a free agent this year or next year?
this year. I have a doc right here actually pulled up with the
Okay.
returning Bulls going into next year. You want me to list them for you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So we got Kobe White coming back next year, Levine, Torrey Craig, Dalen Terry, Nikola Vucevic, Javon Carter, Terry Taylor, Julian Phillips, Io DeShumu, and Lonzo Ball.
Interesting. I could have sworn he was signed through 2024, 2025.
He's not.
When did
But
he
we have,
sign? 2021?
yeah, going into that year, he's signed.
Yeah, I thought it was a 4-year deal.
I don't know. I looked up Bulls free agents coming this year, and it said that DeMar and Caruso were free agents.
Hmm. Well,
I wouldn't mind
interesting.
signing Caruso. I don't know about DeMar.
DeMar, I don't think he fits our timeline.
Yeah. He's going to be 36 years old.
Yeah. He's 30, 36 or 35, something like that.
Yeah. And I was like thinking, like, if we're losing DeMar, like, there ain't an extension talk to him, but it is. Shoot. Um, no, so the Bulls are in extension talks with DeMar, but I don't. He said it depends how like what the moves the Bulls make to get better because he wants to win a championship, obviously.
I mean, for sure. I personally, I'm in the boat of you trade DeMar and you trade Levine this year. Try
Mm-hmm.
and get some draft picks, and then I think this year should be your tank year. Tank year. I
Yeah,
mean, you'll see what it depends. If you trade Levine, like we'll talk about it in a second on where we
because the
think
Bulls
Levine's
head
going to end
guy,
up.
the Bulls head guy AK is like every time the Bulls someone mentions rebuilding him, he doesn't want to do it because he's like the Bulls are too big of a franchise. We have all this money, we can get new veterans. Yes and no.
Yeah, continuity.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because looking
he
at the Bulls
says they
draft
have all
picks,
this.
you go, you go, you
They
go.
have they have a draft pick this year, and then next year's top 10 protected. But AK's like we have all this money and then doesn't spend it.
That's what I'm saying. You got to go over the luxury tax. If because when Lonzo got hurt, you should have went out and signed someone the next offseason. Why did we not push like Nikola Jokic last offseason? Why? If we have all this money, I mean, just saying.
It all
Could have went and
boils
got him.
down to Jerry Reinsdorf is the owner. Look at the White
He
Sox.
needs
Look at the
out.
White Sox.
The Sox are going to be moving to Nashville, is what I've heard. Like, the Sox
Apparently today, we'll talk about it in a second, but today he was talking to the mayor of Nashville, apparently.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
heard earlier in the season the Sox have a good chance of moving to Nashville because not only is the ballpark horrible and there's been like shootings outside and inside the ballpark all
inside the
season.
ballpark.
That's what I'm saying. So I honestly am for them moving to Nashville because honestly the Cubs run Chicago, so I'm okay with the Cubs staying.
Agreed. I was listening. I'm pretty sure it was CHGO podcast, and they were kind of talking about what was going on at the winter meetings, and they estimated out of the Chicagoland area, so whatever, that's like 9 million people, just downtown and then surrounding area, that about 30 to 35% of that is White Sox fans. And his argument was to Jerry, since Reinsdorf's all about money, is it's 33% of 9 million is bigger than 100% of 1.5 million. That was the argument, which
is 1.5
I agree.
Nashville.
Yes, around that, something like that.
I think the Sox should move to Nashville and build a new ballpark there. I think it's in their best interest. Because, I mean, you already have the A's moving to Vegas, but for the next 2 years, I've heard they're homeless. So, I don't know what's
they'll
going on
be playing
in Oakland.
at Reno. That's a minor league team.
That's bad.
Getting back onto the Bulls. This is, I'm a Cubs fan. Frank is a Blue Jays fan. If he had to pick a Chicago team, he'd probably pick the Cubs. And
100%.
we still are rambling about the horrible decision making of Jerry Reinsdorf and the White Sox. But a little win streak for the Bulls the last couple games.
We do have 2 in a row. We beat the Bucks without Levine and DeMar.
And then the Pelicans are not a bad team.
I know. We are playing pretty good. And DeMar did play versus the Pelicans. And the team still ran good. It's just whenever Levine plays, it seems it doesn't work.
Yeah. DeMar against the Pelicans, 40 minutes, 5 rebounds, 10 assists, 24 points. So a really, really solid game.
That's perfect.
Patrick Williams, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 14 points in 29 minutes. The star of the show against the Pelicans, though, Kobe White, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 31 points. He was on triple-double watch for a little there.
I got to order his jersey. That's insane. Wow. I don't know what to say.
Kobe White, I think he's one of the pieces where I think he can be part of your future championship team.
Agree.
I also think Ayo can be. 33 minutes, 15 points. Ayo's not going to give you a 30 burger every night. He's not going to shoot 40% from 3, but he's going to give you solid defense, and he's going to shoot at least 33% from 3. Yeah. So, especially in the corners. In the corners, maybe you'll get 40%.
The one guy I don't think that would fit a rebuild is Pat Will. He hasn't really proven anything.
The start of the year for him has been really bad. He's kind of turned it on a little.
$200 million extension.
I don't understand.
You can ask for that, but you have to be averaging 15 points a game, and you're not.
Thomas and I talked about it. This year has been career lows across the board in points, rebounds, assists, field goal percentage.
I would almost trade him. I'm sure one of these young rebuilding teams, like an Orlando, a San Antonio, will take him.
I 100% agree with that, and I also think that he could be part of a package for Levine, and it leads us into where do we think Levine's going to end up here?
I've already thought about this. I know my exact answer. I want the Bulls to trade Levine and Pat Will for John Morant.
Interesting. Bring in second coming of D Rose.
Ja has had his issues in Memphis. And
agreed.
If they want to even out the salary in that trade, because they can throw Derrick Rose in. Because I want Derrick Rose to come back to Chicago and win it. It would be amazing.
I mean, me
But
too. But he's been lights out. Derrick Rose has been so
Derrick
good
Rose
this
has
year
actually
for
been
them.
insane this year. It's like actually he is so bad.
I'm gonna pull up his stats. I mean, it's not MVP Derrick Rose. I
Well,
don't think
yeah,
we'll ever see
but
that again.
I I'm so happy he's like been playing a lot better, and it's good to see.
9.7 points, 2 rebounds, 3.1 assists, shooting 40% from the field, 38% from three, which is uh 7% better than his career high. I
That's
mean,
not
this
ever
is
his
on
thing, the
Basketball
threes.
Reference. Yeah, not really.
It was
I
always that
mean,
quick step to the hoop and drive.
exactly. It feels like he's gotten that back. Only
Yeah, he got
19,
that.
19 minutes a game, too.
He's been playing like every other game though. He's been dealing with an ankle injury recently.
Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
to be expected. To be expected.
You can't play him all 82 games. It just you know what's gonna happen.
Exactly. Other teams have tried that, and
Yeah,
it's it's just not a recipe for failure. So, or not a recipe for success. Excuse me.
yeah.
But man, the
It's not bad.
the John Morant and Derrick Rose for Patrick Williams and Zach Levine.
I'm all for it.
I don't think I would see that. My two teams, it would be an interdivision trade. Would be the Pistons for Jaden Ivey and maybe a first or two firsts,
I love Jaden
or
Ivey.
one I saw floated around, and as an Arizona Wildcat, this has been my favorite one. It was to the Pacers for Benedict Mathurin and 2 first-round picks.
That wouldn't be bad. Then you have
I
Dalen
think
and Benedict Mathurin, and that might help Dalen as well, bringing one of his former
exactly it
teammates
pushed
in.
Dalen.
Then there is the one thing that happened the other night for Bulls trade. AK was
Oh,
waiting
I
outside
forgot
the
about this.
Pelicans locker room after a game, and some employee was like peeking around the corner recording. And AK said like, "Don't say that out loud" or something. I don't know what
It
Zion
was
said,
I
but
think uh Zion said, "Hey, I'd love to play with Zach and on the Bulls," which
with Zach,
then it got he did say with Zach, which I found interesting. That's what it sounded like. I don't
so
know for
trade
sure.
Demar.
You're not going to get Zion for Demar though.
So
If
if
you're
you put
getting Zion back in a
Demar,
trade,
Pat Will, and like Dalen in a trade, then they
I
might.
almost feel like you'd have to give up a pick for that to go through though.
We can give up like a 2026 first round.
I mean, I guess I
I mean,
like
Zion is
Zion.
Zion.
I
I
mean,
would love
I
to see
know, I
Zion.
know. I
What's
wanted
his
Zion.
contract?
I think he signed the max.
I'm looking
I'm
it
looking
up.
it up right now. Zion Williamson signed a 5-year,
Yeah.
$197 million deal
So
this
that's
year.
pretty similar to Levine's actually.
I think almost maybe a little more.
Yeah. But if he wants to play alongside Levine,
It's
I
actually
mean,
less
I
than
guess
Levine.
if we
Levine
wanted to
signed.
trade for him this year, we could give up a Caruso. He's going to be a free agent anyway.
You. I mean, that is. I mean, that is interesting. I'm just looking through. I'm gonna try and put it through this trade machine.
If it
Um,
would go through.
it would a 1-for-1 swap. It would work, which I don't know if a 1-for-1 swap would happen, but
I don't, because if he wants to play alongside Levine, the Bulls aren't, they have to keep Levine somehow. So you'd have to give up, I think, obviously, Demar, Pat, Will would both be in the trade. And
I
keep
would
Caruso.
agree with you.
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't be a 1-for-1. You'd have to include other players
Yeah.
into that. And but also, if you're trading those guys, you're kind of punting the year,
Mm-hmm.
and you're still probably going to be a lottery team. I mean, I'm going to look on Tankathon right now, but the top of this draft class looks really nice. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you have Ron Holland, Isaiah Collier's looked really good. You have another big from France, Alexander Sarr, and Matas Buzelis. I probably butchered that name, but I mean, even all the way down to the lottery looks really nice this year, and if you're gonna have a year where you suck, I like this draft class.
Yeah. Now, if the Bulls can turn it around this year and somehow make it like a play-in or the playoffs, I'm all for it. Because last year, if we would have beat Miami, you don't know what would have happened.
Who knows? I also think part of the problem though is Billy Donovan. Like that's why they lost to Miami. They were winning, and then he took Kobe White out for no reason.
That's a good point. I don't
Like
mind Billy, but I'm not a fan of Billy.
when we hired him, I was like, this is a great hire. And even that first year, like the way the team was playing and the way the team meshed, man, I was like, all right, maybe we finally got one. And then no, it just it didn't end up happening. And it's like, well, but the problem is he has a contract extension, so
Yeah.
you're
Wait.
stuck with him.
We extended Billy Donovan?
Secretly, apparently, after 2021, they extended him and never made it public.
I want, like, I feel it'd be so cool. I want, like, a Joakim Noah as our coach.
That would be. I wouldn't hate it. I don't know how it would work. Like I don't know if he would be a good coach. I've
Yeah.
said it in the past, not on the podcast, but I said it in the past. Like, my prime head coach candidate would be Stacey King.
That would be sick.
It'd be
I hope they
hilarious.
never get rid of him.
Me neither, because I love him as a color guy, but at the same time, like the way he just like he understands what the Bulls are doing wrong.
Exactly. He's pointing it all out during the games. And sometimes I think Billy just needs to listen to him.
Agreed. I wish like he just waved Billy over and be like, "Hey, what are we doing? You have to do this." And it's like, well, I don't know if that's legal or not, but
yeah,
the
that is true.
Bulls, the Bulls are stuck in the middle of nowhere, and it'll be interesting to see what this team looks like in the next couple months and who's here, who's gone. Because I could
They do
see
play
them.
tonight as well.
They play tonight. They play against the Hornets at 6. So
That should be a win with LaMelo Ball out, by the way. In my opinion.
agreed for sure.
Yeah.
Now let's transition over to some baseball here.
I bet.
The big report yesterday. First was the Cubs are out on Ohtani, then they're back in, and then later in the night.
That was confusing as heck.
It really was. Later in the night, the Athletic came out with an article saying they're pivoting and they're back out. Today, according to John Morosi on Twitter, he says the Cubs remain part of the final group for Ohtani, and they can't rule the Cubs out. But at the moment, they are not the favorites, and that's looking to be the Blue Jays and the Dodgers, which.
And Dave Roberts actually came out in the winter meetings and said they met with Ohtani for like 2 to 3 hours, and so did the Jays.
All the teams have, like the Giants have leaked their meeting. Dave Roberts just came out and said it.
I know. So like
Blue
they're
Jays,
not really listening to Ohtani, like saying.
All I'm
like,
saying, the only team that has listened is the Cubs. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think he's a Dodger, but I could see the Blue Jays getting him. According to a random source that came out, he said he wanted to play in Toronto. Like that would be one of his preferred cities. I just don't see it. The Dodgers have been waiting for this offseason since he came to the United States. They got under the luxury tax this season. I think they're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at him.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing that I think that could be holding him back is he doesn't want to play in LA again.
That is actually interesting. He wants to try someplace else.
Yeah, and one thing Toronto does have, I know LA has it too, but they have a high Japanese population in the city of Toronto.
Yes. I've been to Toronto. They do. Also, the difference, like the reason, like before any of these rumors, the Cubs were out, is why I had a little confidence that he would want to maybe come to Chicago. Is
Mm-hmm.
LA is a Lakers town. Like you will be, you could win 6 straight World Series in a row. You're still not the best athlete in LA. It's
Exactly.
Kobe Bryant and now LeBron James.
Yeah.
In Toronto, in Chicago, even in San Francisco. Well, San Francisco is a 49ers town.
Yeah.
But it'll be if he comes to the Cubs and
The only
wins,
athlete that he wouldn't be better as is Michael Jordan.
it'd be Michael Jordan 1A and Shohei Ohtani 1B
Yeah,
here. In
100%.
Toronto, it'd be
Kawhi, Vince Carter, I don't know.
uh, there's no one really for the Raptors, maybe Vince. There's
Yeah,
no one for the Maple Leafs because they haven't won anything in 50, 60 years.
and they don't have
And
football up there.
they don't have a NFL team. It's Canadian football.
Yeah, so it's not
So
like
he would be up there with your Blue Jays greats. I mean, he'd probably be the greatest Blue Jay ever if he went to Toronto.
yeah. And another thing the Jays have going for them is they just redid all the outfield last year, and now they're redoing the
Yep.
lower bowl of the stadium this year as the second part of the renovation before they do the rest behind home plate. But redoing this, it's like almost a new stadium technically.
Yep. And Rogers Center is really nice. That's a
Yeah.
nice stadium. Which is also like I think the Giants probably are not out, but obviously they're not a favorite. But I think he's kind of saying no to the Giants just because of their issues with the stadium.
I mean,
The
there's a
Dodgers,
deep right field there.
exactly. Dodger Stadium is hitter friendly. Wrigley Field is also extremely hitter friendly.
Yeah.
Um, I think he's a Dodger. If I had to put money on it, I put money on the Dodgers.
Same,
I go
unfortunately, but I would love to see him in Toronto.
look just from all the interactions I've had with Blue Jays fans on Twitter. It's
They're brutal.
he does not go to Toronto.
They are brutal. Well, I know
It's
him and
insane.
Vlad have a good connection
Yeah,
because they
yeah,
would talk like after games and stuff. So I'm hoping Vlad's like texting him right now or something.
yeah. I mean, that would be a fun team to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Just out of spite of the Blue Jays fans, I hope he picks somewhere else. I mean, I hope he picks Chicago, but so
Yeah,
many reports. I genuinely like. I don't know if anyone actually knows what's going on. The Cubs could
I
very
don't
well
know.
be a favorite, but I don't think it is that they are personally. But like Heyman comes out says one thing, Nightingale comes out says another thing, Morosi
I
comes
know.
out says a completely different thing, and it's very obvious that
Mhm.
he wanted to keep this all under wraps, and it's working really, really,
Yeah,
really well.
yeah, it is. It 100% is. I still don't see anything on Twitter about Yamamoto though. I have no clue who's in the running for him.
Apparently, it's the teams that are in on Otani minus the Blue Jays and Angels.
Yeah.
So Dodgers, Cubs, Giants, the Mets are in, and I believe the Red Sox are in. Those are like the top 5.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
rumored he's going to get like $300 million, which is
That's
insane.
ridiculous. He hasn't even played in the big leagues yet.
He hasn't thrown one major league pitch, but you also have to realize it's not every day that a 25-year-old ace level pitcher hits the market.
That is true. I
Like when
mean,
these pitchers
yeah.
hit free agency, they're 27, 28, 30 even.
Yeah.
You can only assume Yamamoto's going to get better. So
True.
who knows what's going to happen with that.
Hmm.
But biggest news of the day today, it's reported by John Morosi that there has been a Juan Soto trade, and he is going to the New York Yankees along with Trent Grisham. And in return, the Padres are going to receive Michael King, Drew Thorpe, Yoni Brito, Randy Vasquez, and Kyle Higashioka. This is a massive return for the Padres.
We knew the Padres were going to trade Soto after the disappointing year last year. I had them winning the
Exactly.
World Series last year before the season started.
So did I. So did I.
And, and, they,
100%
and they were
agree.
horrible. So you knew they were going to move either Soto, Bogarts, Machado, or Tatis. They chose Soto because they
Yep.
have those other three locked up for like 10 years or whatever it is. So they moved Soto. I think they're going to try to re-sign Hader and like Snell probably. That would make sense. But
That would
I
make
don't know
sense.
what they're doing.
Snell's been that's I don't know where he's going.
Yeah, Snell's been
But
quiet.
the return for this, I mean, you're getting a top 100 prospect. Drew Thorpe is a right-handed pitcher, 23 years old, in Double A right now.
Mm-hmm.
6'4", 99th prospect in baseball. Has a 50 fastball, 55 slider, 65 changeup, 55 control, overall 55 future value on the 20/80 scale.
Yeah.
And then you're getting, honestly, I'd say the headline is Michael King, who last year was fantastic. 3.2 WAR, 2.75 ERA, 104 innings pitched.
Mm-hmm.
That is an elite eighth inning guy. And
I think he was
don't,
the only thing going for the Yankees last year with Garrett Cole.
100%, 100%. And then Yoni Brito, also not a bad pitcher. Same with Randy Vasquez is a solid player. For 1 year, possibly, of Juan Soto, and then
Yeah.
you're getting a nice backup catcher in Kyle Higashioka.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think Soto signs an extension.
I don't
He
either.
said he said that he doesn't want to. I mean,
He wants to
Randy
explore free
Vasquez,
agency.
exactly. Randy Vasquez, 1 WAR, 2.87 ERA, only 37.2 innings pitched. Yoni Brito, I mean, not as good as a Randy Vasquez or Michael King, but that's still a solid bullpen arm. And
Yeah.
I think he might be a starter, actually. Um, Looking right now, 90 innings pitched, probably not a starter.
Yeah. No.
Oh no, 13 games started out of 25. So
Oh, that's not bad.
yeah, I think the Yankees got really desperate. I
Yeah.
like the move for both teams,
I
but
think
the amount of
in the end, the
pitching,
Padres won it though.
I 100%. I mean, comparing to what they gave up, not even close. Um, but you
But in
you
the
beat the
future,
Dodgers, and no, I'm agreed. Like they had to free up salary, and Soto wasn't gonna sign an extension.
yeah, I know.
So
We'll
we'll see
see
what
what the Padres
happens.
do this year. Because I
There's a
want them to be
report
good.
that
I don't mind like Tatis. Tatis is.
I
I
have
like
a
how he plays.
Tatis jersey.
I do too. I
Um,
have their City Connect.
Me too. I have that exact one.
It's the best jersey. I
Um,
love it.
Agreed. That's one of my top jerseys in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, I forgot what I was gonna say. To be honest. We might have lost Frank. Well, I'll keep talking here, but uh, I think Juan Soto is probably going to hit free agency, as we said. But at the same time, like 1 year Juan Soto is still really valuable, and the Yankees, they need to do something um, here to after they had Judge's massive MVP season 2 years ago. They made the postseason, made it to the NLCS, and then ALCS, and then ended up getting swept. And then now, last year was a super disappointing year um, for them. But who knows what will happen? I think they're probably still another move away from being a World Series contender. But Frank's back. I think
Yo,
Frank.
I'm on my phone now. My computer died.
All right, Frank is back.
We're good
His
though.
computer died.
We're chilling.
All right, that's what I like to hear.
Sweet.
I was just kind of saying how the Yankees, I think, are still another move away from being a true World Series contender. And
Agree.
the amount of pitching that they've lost with this trade, they sent what was it, 4 pitchers over, 3 pitchers, and then they ended up losing more guys in the Rule 5 draft.
I mean, they have Garrett Cole. I don't like him, but yeah. And then Carlos Rodon is horrible.
I'm not sure what's going to happen with him. They signed him to a big contract, and he was hurt. And then when he actually pitched last year, he was terrible.
Yeah, I know. He tweeted before he pitched the Royals game in Kansas City. He said, "Every strikeout I get, I'll donate $1,000 to like the local like pet foundation or whatever, where they have like dogs, like an adoption center." He had 0 strikeouts and he didn't get out of the first inning.
Yeah, I mean, he was really bad last year, and I Yankees are kind of in like, you just signed Judge to this big contract.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're gonna do here. I would have let Judge walk. I don't think he was worth that large contract.
I don't think he's like one of the top players in MLB, but I mean, he is, but I'm not a fan of Judge.
You're a Yankees hater because you're a Blue Jays fan.
Pretty
Judge
much,
is
yeah.
100%. Judge is a top 5 hitter in baseball. It's just he didn't fit the Yankees timeline.
Yeah.
Personally, that division is insane. Have the Rays, who are maybe going into a rebuild mode. The Red Sox, they have a couple young pieces. The Blue Jays are going to be a perennial playoff team. And then you have the Orioles, who I think are going to win that division for the next 10 years, unless the Blue Jays go out and sign a Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, I think the Jays need to get an Ohtani. And then we also lost 2 starting pitchers to the Jays rotation, UC Kikuchi and Hyunjin Ryu. So, I mean, you have Gosman, Barrios, Bassett, and Manoah going into next year. You need one more.
Yeah, you'll need one more arm. You're hoping for a Manoah bounce back. I'm a Alek Manoah fan. I think he will bounce back. I don't know if he'll be able to. I don't know if he'll be able to recreate his dominant 2022.
Yeah, he is still young though, so there is a chance.
That is true. Like, I mean, this was what, his 3rd year. I'm not even sure he's arbitration eligible yet.
He's not.
It's just the drop off right there was huge.
I know. I mean, even if we do sign Shohei, though, he won't be our 5th starter because he can't pitch for a year.
Can't pitch.
So
earliest he'll be able to pitch is 2025.
I got my
2024. Sorry, no, 2025. Bauer is an interesting one. There's a report that his Japanese team wanted him back.
Yeah, they do want him back. They're trying to sign him right now, but he wants to go, obviously, to the MLB.
He wants to come play here in the States. I don't know if his transition is going to be that good. Him being your 5th starter, like, I'd be fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, we might have. Oh, he's back. Bauer being your 5th starter, I'd be okay with. I don't think a team should expect him to come in and recreate his 2020 Cy Young and be this ace that he was when he was on the Dodgers. And be this.
I mean, he was throwing 99 in Japan, though. If you watched his YouTube videos, he wasn't bad.
He was performing really well. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's going to come back and translate. Which it will remains to be seen if he comes back to the States.
I hope he does. I want to see him play in person.
Yeah, it will be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, I know, Frank, you don't know about a lot about the Blackhawks here. So
I know, but
whenever you feel like chiming in, if you know, it's a short Blackhawks segment today because we're already at 43 minutes. But last night, the Blackhawks lose 4-3 in a shootout to the Nashville Predators and fall to 32nd in the standings. Everyone can make fun of the Blackhawks right now. You laugh now, but when it's going to be Bedard and then future first overall pick Clint Celebrini lifting the Stanley Cup in Chicago, we'll all be laughing right back at you. So you can laugh now when we suck, but just wait, it's coming.
Yeah. I saw Bedard had a penalty, not a penalty, a shootout goal. What was it? I don't know what it's called. He had a
shootout goal.
It was pretty.
He's 1 for 1. It's a nice little snipe in the top corner. Another Blackhawks prospect Lucas Reichel, demoted to the fourth line. He was scratched 2 games ago. He just has not been playing that great. He had an okay game yesterday. The problem was in overtime, and you can even see it in regulation. He just has to put muscle on. He's getting pushed off the puck way too easily. I think he's a guy that has all the skill in the world, but it's just it hasn't come together for him yet, which I hope it does. I'm not sure if it ever will. It might just be one of those guys where it's like lightning in a bottle for one game, but then kind of be meh the rest of the time. Similar to almost like a Christopher Morel, where he'll go on those stretches where he hits 10 home runs in 10 games. And then
that was when he did that last year.
When he came up, and then he'll go on a 0 for 40 streak the next 10 games, and it's like he can still be a valuable player. It's just he's not going to be this elite, consistent threat, which I think he can be that type of player at like a not MVP level, but give you 85 points a year. It's just can he put it all together? And to close, I'll talk about a little bit of it's been the Blackhawks' best line with Dickinson, Foligno, and Anderson. This line has just been they've scored a chunk of the Blackhawks goals the last 4 games. Foligno had 2 last night. Dickinson has had about like 5, it seems like, in his last 6 games. And Anderson has just been distributing really well. He's getting into the corners. It is the one that line, a couple rookie defensemen and Connor Bedard, like that is the bright spot on on this team, which hopefully will lead to a first overall pick potentially. I should restate what I said earlier. By point percentage, the Blackhawks are still second to last. By points, they are last. And I think we're going to introduce a little new Blackhawks segment here. Let me share my screen. And let's do a lottery spin on Tankathon. And here we go. We'll do one spin today. As you can see, Blackhawks have lost 4 in a row. 13.5% chance to get the first overall pick. Thank you, Tankathon. Let's see what happens here. And they moved down to 3, which is where they were projected to go last year. Obviously, it's really early in the season to be really focusing on what's going to happen. Because there are teams down here like I think Seattle, Buffalo, Edmonton, these teams that were supposed to kind of jump up and be Stanley Cup contenders just haven't been.
Edmonton disappointment. I've played as them in NHL. I thought they were going to be good. They have Connor McDavid.
They were my pick to win the cup this year, and I was like, this is finally their year. I mean, my champion predictions have been really bad the last couple of years. 2022, I picked the White Sox to win the World Series.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
that was bad.
And then that didn't happen. Last year, I picked the Padres to win the World Series. That didn't happen. Last year, I picked the Colorado Avalanche to win the Stanley Cup. They lost in the first round. And this year, I picked the Edmonton Oilers to win the Stanley Cup, and they're 9-12-1.
I don't like guess for hockey, but for like baseball, I had Padres last year, the Jays the year before.
Yeah, my World Series was a White Sox Jays.
I had the Jays in 21 and 22. 21 when we had Marcus Semien, and then we let him go.
Yeah. Who's your pick for this upcoming season for baseball?
Before free agency? Okay, we'll do this before free agency. Wow. That's I'm gonna go. Wow, that's no one from the AL Central. We'll just start there.
I think you can safely eliminate both Central divisions just based on what we know right now.
Yeah. I really want to. I almost want to say Atlanta, just because they're loaded.
I have them making the World Series, but
I
losing
would
to
say
the
they make
Baltimore Orioles.
losing. I don't think the Orioles are ready. This is
Really?
hard. I'm gonna go Atlanta. Houston.
Atlanta beats Houston. Interesting.
That's before free agency.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. Huh. That's a good pick. Any listeners, remember these picks. Um,
Facts.
I'm gonna stick with mine. It doesn't matter where Shohei goes, except actually, I might pick the Dodgers out of the NL if he goes to the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's
But
what I was.
I'm a firm believer in the Baltimore Orioles defeating the Atlanta Braves in the 2024 World Series.
The American League, honestly, looking at it, is so much weaker than the National League, and it's like not even close.
It's so top heavy. You have the Baltimore and Texas as the two elite teams.
Then you
And
got
then
all these other good teams though that aren't elite, but they're good.
you have the Astros, Blue Jays, Twins, all these other teams that are like, oh, they're okay. They're nothing crazy.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Who knows? I just want to say thank you for coming on the pod,
Hey, no
filling in for
problem.
Thomas. We're
Yeah.
hoping Thomas comes back on Friday.
Yeah.
He's a little under the weather right now. Friday will be a big time Cubs talk. We might talk a little Bears, but mostly Cubs.
Hopefully
We,
Shohei
we might
signs.
we hopefully Shohei signs by then. There's a report he's supposed to sign by the end of this weekend. So who knows? We're rooting for a big Patriots win tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football. Try and seal that Bears first round pick. But yeah, I think that's all for today. Thank you, Frank, for coming on again.
No
And
problem.
we'll see you guys on Friday. Have a good one.
Peace out.